Hey there, YouTubers. Welcome back to Maxwell Star's YouTube channel. This time, I know that I post a lot of beer videos to my channel, but I gotta keep in mind that I'm a nerd. I'm a video game nerd, computer nerd, all different sorts of nerd, and one of the most nerdiest things I've got is my video game collection. Now, I know there's a challenge out there for everybody to show off their collections of certain things. I thought I'd decide to make a video to show off my video game collection. So, Propeller IPA, I'll put that aside, we'll review that later. We get started here. I've been collecting video games since I was a kid, since I was about 14. I mean, I've had video game consoles ever since I was, well, pre-teen, but actually collecting consoles when I was a teenager. Anyway, one of my first consoles here is right in front of us. I've had an Atari 7800 since I was 7 years old. This was my first video game console system. One thing that was interesting about having an Atari 7800 is it gave a different perspective. I was envious of all my friends of having Nintendo Entertainment Systems, but at the same time I also got to play an awesome world of classic Atari 2600 games. And it's kind of the way that I broke into the video game collecting scene, is because when we were kids, we were able to buy shoeboxes full of video games for the Atari 2600 to play on Atari 7800. Actually, I've got a 2600 cartridge right in there right now. It's Qbert. I'll turn it on here, and I'll set the television over to, actually I think it's channel 2. Yep. Uh-oh, Coiley's after me. Shoot. Haha, make the daring escape. Is this fucker gonna jump? Oh! Alright. So, obviously I can't play it one-handed. Yeah. For the Atari 2600, I'll go into more detail in general. I have a real Atari 2600 as well. I've got a large collection of games for this one as well, so... moving right along, let's take a look at one thing that was actually visible in my last video. This is my Virtual Boy. Doesn't work 100% perfect. One of the screens, like right here, isn't working right. Let's see, I'll turn it on here. We might be able to make out what's in the... yeah, right there. You can barely see it. It's hard to see with the reflection. Let's see my shirt. Yeah, but over here, nothing. I gotta repair that. There is a way to fix that. It's just it involves buying parts from scrap Virtual Boy. That said, it's kind of interesting, but it's interesting and it's actually a really big piece of crap. So moving right along, let's take a look at one of my other consoles here. Sitting underneath it, I've got Bonk's Adventure, or sorry, TurboGrafx 16. This one only features RF only. I've got Bonk's Adventure in the console right now. I've also got Splatterhouse for this, and you can see right here she's only got like one spot for a controller. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Oh, come on. Bonk, you suck. So far I'm hitting... Whoa! Aww. There you go. Take a pitch. Alright. Turn that off. Let's move on to the next one. This one here is my Dreamcast. Beep. Yep, it's already selected. Let's go set the video. Right over here to Sega. What have we got in there? Oh, this is gonna get loud. San Francisco Rush 2049, one of the most awesome arcade games to come out in the last 15 years. And it also had an awesome port on the Sega Dreamcast. So, moving right along, let's go take a look at the stuff that's on the bottom shelf. Where's the button for it? There we go. Super Battleship Formation Sega Genesis with the Sega 32X and the CD add-ons. So, I will see here. This one, I'll put it over to, it's on video. So, Sega Genesis is an awesome console. However, it's had a couple of ill-fated additions that went with the console itself. A lot of great games for the Genesis, not so many great games for its additions. I've got a collection of games for all 3 units. Let's take a look at this one. I've got a copy of... This one's going to look familiar as soon as I turn it on. AD 2101. War was beginning. Now, they only released this game in Europe. However, it plays fine on North American consoles. What happened? Somebody set up us the bomb. Operator, we get signal. What? Main screen turn on. It's you. How are you, gentlemen? All your base are belong to us. You have you are on the way to destruction. What you say? You have no chance to survive. Make your time. Ha ha ha. Alright. Yeah, it's got the worst Japanese to English translation of all time in a video game. It's actually not a bad shooter game. It's not really like incredibly impressive or anything. It's just a neat one from, I think, is it Tokai or something made this? Yeah, start here. Total Plan. Yeah, they made some other cool shooters. I can't remember the names of them right now, but I know they have some others. Anyway. So if you turn the console... Actually, one cool thing is if you turn the console on without... basically, if you turn the console on, usually it says licensed by Sega, blah blah blah. This is one of the very first Sega Genesis consoles. It doesn't actually say licensed by. Then, in and around like 1990 or something, people were starting to make, the popularity of the Genesis was on the rise, and they were starting to make pirated games for this console. The reason for that, well, I mean, somebody can make non-licensed games for the console, then why not? So it was relatively easy to bypass. So they started producing that license by Sega. Means that it actually contained the necessary code in order for it to boot up on the system. But if you have one of the older consoles, it would play everything, no matter what. Now, if you take the cartridge out here and turn it on, it'll fire up the Sega CD. I don't have a game in it right now, so I'll skip that and maybe listen to the groovy music. Okay, so let's put a Sega 32X game in. Virtual Racing Deluxe. For such an ill-fated console, I actually thought that this thing had some pretty decent 3D effects going for it. And this game is a great showcase of what the 32X can really do. This is stuff that you would see on like the N64 or the PlayStation, and here we are. We're seeing this on a 16-bit console. That was the purpose of the 32X. It added two 32-bit RISC processors to the Genesis. Too bad it was too close to... Yeah. Too bad it was too close to the release of the Sega Saturn to make a real big difference. Speaking of which, the next console on the list here is a Sega Saturn. Turn it on. This is a black Sega Saturn with oval buttons. It's a first generation release. And I've actually got a 4-in-1 action replay cartridge to go with it. Yeah, and it's actually booting up the cartridge right here. This thing is it's like a Game Genie for the Sega Saturn. It also has built-in storage memory, as well as it breaks region coding. What have I got in for the console right now? If I hit start, I gotta get the start button because it's all wrapped in cord. There we go. Yeah, start game with no cheats disabled or cheats enabled. I don't usually play with cheat codes on anyway, so say that my defense. What we got here? The Japanese-only release of the arcade version of Outrun, one of the best arcade games in the 1980s. The late 1980s, I guess you could say. Everybody remembers this game, come on. You have to have seen this in arcades. I'm surprised when somebody doesn't. Anyway, moving right along. Down below is something that not a whole lot of people have actually seen one of these. This is a 3DO. This is a Gold Star 3DO. Turn it on here. Let it boot up. It's a CD-based console for the. It was one of the first 32-bit consoles. There we go, 3DO. 3DO experience from Electronic Arts. What could it be in here? Really ancient Electronic Arts logo. Ooh, from Canada.
I didn't say it didn't mean.
That was well after that. This might offer some hints to some people. Pioneer Productions. Ooh, fancy cars. Stick shift. Lots of fast driving. In the 1990s, maybe? Room. Hey, another game with a Testarossa. Yeah. Alright, we're watching the intro sequence, but I'm going to skip it. Nice Lamborghini. Road and Track presents the Need for Speed. This is the very first Need for Speed. In fact, it's the very first release of Need for Speed, because it originally started as a 3DO title. Yeah, right. Anyway, so we'll move right along here and to the next one on the list, which is the Sega Master System. Sega. What have I got in here? Alright, the European release. Yeah, it'll actually play games. There's no region coding on the Master System. The only problem you'll have with bringing a game over from somewhere else over to here with the Master System is that sometimes the scan lines don't match up and you'll have a big old wavy screen. But in most cases it works. This is Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which was only released in Europe. Other parts of the world, I think there was in like Japan and definitely Brazil. In New Brunswick, Canada, whatever, just in general North America, it wasn't released over here except for on the Game Gear, because the Game Gear is pretty much identical to the Master System. It's just got basically a smaller screen. Turn that off. Alright, moving right along, let's take a look at this one here. Hit the button. Ow. Flip a switch. Put it on component. And here we've got my PlayStation 2. With the free bootloader on a memory card, which allows it to play burnt games, which I currently don't have set up because I don't have a hard drive installed. It has the network adapter, so I can put one on at a later date. I just haven't gotten around to it. blah blah blah. This might take a bit. Actually, the reason why it's taking a while is because it's booting up the game at the same time. You just wait. Oof. Yeah, you can hear it winding up. Yeah. Continue. Sega. What could this be? See a lot of Sega here for some reason. I'm actually more of a Nintendo fan. Outrun 2006. Another awesome arcade title. Alright. Moving right along. What should I show next? Put it to channel 3 or 4. And show the next one down below here, which is my ColecoVision. Another ancient console from the 80s. Again, with Q-verts inserted. Turn that on. Game 1 to 6. This is the right one right here. Ooh. Really crappy controllers. It actually had a really awesome port of Q-vert. This is my favorite port of Q-vert. Because, I mean, look at the detail. Whoops. Fuck. Anyway. Alright, so I can't play Q-vert one-handed, but we knew that. I've got another collection of games for that one as well. I don't want that. I want full 3. We'll show off what's below it, which is the Intellivision. Mattel's Intellivision, released in 1980. So, again, Q-vert. Turn it on. And it's got a quirky system. There's like a capacitor that's failing inside, and it's a very difficult to find capacitor, I guess. So I haven't gotten around to actually fixing it. But if you sit here and press reset on the thing for about a minute, it'll actually come back on, come on, charge that capacitor. It's got to do with the reset system, I guess. There we go. So let's start that up. Oh, glitch! Now obviously you can't play that, but if you keep hitting reset, it'll eventually come back on and be useful. But it takes a while. Alright, I'll leave that alone. It works. It works perfectly, it's just gotta warm up. So, what's next? Let's take a look in here. And I've got the mother load of Nintendo. I'll flip to these switches here. And the Super Nintendo on. Oh, and switch it to video. And I got Return of Samus. The Game Boy inserted into the Super Game Boy. And 64 works as well. Yeah, the N64 works as well. Come on. Where are you? Come on, I worked last weekend. I swear it works. Did I hit the right switch? Mario! Woohoo! Hello! Alright, you can sit here for a while and play with Mario's face if you wanted to, but another thing I've got here is more Mario. This is the NES, a regular NES. It's actually got a serial number, I believe, below 6 million or something. It's one of the earlier ones. This is from like 1986. Came with a gray zapper. I have the box and everything for home, as well as over here, hey Rob the Robot. Cool. So, what else have I got? Yay, another Nintendo console. We'll launch it out to set over to component. doesn't do HDMI. And say to continue. I'm really too close to the TV to be using this, but what games could you play? Star Force. Actually, this is the arcade port of Star Force, and it's freaking hard. So, I'm not gonna... Oh, my battery's dying. What? Anyway, let's turn that off. What else have I got here? Oh, right. Got the Xbox 360, which is hasn't been on in so long. There's a software update available for it now. I don't use it very much. It's a Halo 3 edition. It comes with the Play and Charge kit, green console, as well as the green controller. It's funny, I just bought a brand new battery for that and didn't even work. So it's permanently hooked up by cord. The other console sitting here, attached to HDMI 1, or 2, sorry, is not on. But it will be. Next there. That's my profile. I believe my ID is something like Maxwell Star without a space. I don't play as much as Neely does, though. Ooh, Wolf 3D. Ooh, Angry Birds. Nah, I took it out. Need for Speed's in there now. Sorry. Neely plays, look her up, Rava Envy. No? Oh, what is it now? Atomic Sneeze with an underscore. Rovio Mobile. Alright. So, that's Angry Birds. Everybody's seen Angry Birds on, like, iPhones and their Androids. Yeah. Alright, so. And of course I have my Media Center computer attached to this one, so there's my beer channel. So, let's move right along and take a look at some of the other stuff I've got. So, that's over here. My 4-switch Atari wood grain. I've got a decent sized Atari collection. I'm not going to be able to show it to you because I'm going to run out of time. Excuse me. Original heavy sixer, one of the Sunnyvale editions. It's manufactured in Sunnyvale, California. A really low serial number. And unfortunately it doesn't have all of its original parts. It's using a light sixer's motherboard. I've got to get a real heavy sixer motherboard for it. Other than that, it works. And a 6-switch Sears Telegames Video Arcade. This is actually manufactured by Atari for Sears, but it's actually manufactured by Atari for Sears, but they just rebranded it as Video Arcade. I'll get into more detail in a second. Be right back. Alright, so to continue everything here, let's take a look here at the other box. Keyboard for my Media Center. My original bag from my childhood Game Boy. My Game Boy's actually in there, but it doesn't work. The screen's gone on it, just due to age. PlayStation 2 arcade stick. Everybody's favorite NES Advantage. Those things rock ass. Another thing in here is my Atari 800 XL. And all its games like Centipede and Frogger. Whoa, I don't have Q-Bert for this yet. Alright. So, put that away. Let's take a look at what's in my footstool. I'm gonna sit down for this. My MacBook. So, take a look here. Looks like an N64 controller, but it's actually not. I think I've got some batteries in it, I'm not sure. It's actually a Famiclone. It's actually a Famiclone. It's got like 60 different Nintendo games on it, including and they're all Japanese, and it includes like a game where you're playing a World War II fighting ace and you're bombing ships. It's actually kind of weird, because then you realize you're a Japanese fighter plane bombing Americans. Alright, so what else have I got in here? A working, almost mint condition Game Boy. It's got a few scratches on it, but really not that many. And of course it's got Tetris in it. So, let's get that off here. What else have I got? A little Game Boy Pocket. Really big improvement over the original Game Boy, because it's very tiny. It's got Solar Striker in it. It's really tiny, and long battery life for on less than half the batteries. This takes 2 AAAs instead of 4 AA's. Another improvement to the Game Boy line was this. The Game Boy Color. I've got what? Mario Bros. Deluxe inserted. Cool. Oh, right, it's over here. I think. Yep. That one. What else is here? The Game Boy Advance, my Platinum Game Boy Advance. Where's the on switch on this one? Game Boy. Emergency order. Samus to the rescue. Exterminate all Metroids. Alright. Zero mission. And of course, the peak of Game Boy technology, the Game Boy Advance SP. This is actually one of the backlit versions, provided it turns on. Oh, that's the volume dial. This actually looks really good on camera because it's backlit instead of front lit. The difference between it is one's got a light. It's basically the original screen of the Game Boy, but it's got a built-in light, so it actually glows on the screen itself, lighting up what you're doing, which is a huge improvement over the original Game Boy. But this one is so much better because it's actually got the light behind the liquid crystal, and it shows up perfectly on screens like this. These ones are actually rare and sought after. They were only available for like the last few years of the Game Boy SP's existence. Another thing I got here is my Nintendo DSi XL, the one with the huge screens. Turn that on. They're also backlit screens, but they're like 33% larger than the original. Fire up in the Namco arcade here. Namco Museum. It's actually really awesome to be able to carry that with you. Anyway. Turn that off. Put that aside. Another portable here I've got is the PSP. This is my Slim 3000. PSP 3000. Actually, what is it now? Has a disc in the console. PSP. Takes a while to load, but it's got Burnout Legends inserted. Which is a really awesome game to be able to take on the road. I think it's awesome on the consoles. This is actually really nice to have. Of course, I haven't played it in a while. Yeah, anyway, I think you get the idea. Alright, so what else is here? The humongous Game Gear. And it works too. It's got like a Sonic, I think, in it. Sega. It talks. It also had like a backlit screen, I believe, but this is like really early technology. It's all not only just washed out. It's not too bad, really. Let's see, where's the contrast dial? Ah. Anyway, it's not really as good as like a Game Boy is, but that screen was very expensive to produce back then. And in here I've got all kinds of other controllers, like original Atari controllers, extra N64 and Xbox controllers, PC gamepads, GameCube controllers. I have a GameCube too, but it's in the bedroom. So is my PS1. Extra TurboGrafx 16 controller, N64 controllers, Dreamcast controllers, Rock Band microphone, Atari 7800 joystick. As hated as that controller was, I actually am a big fan of it. I think that's pretty much it for controllers. Oh, I've got... Where is it? Yeah, it's here somewhere. Right. That's the American style Sega Saturn controller, and there's also the Japanese one that looks kind of like a bat wing. Alright. So what else is here? Oh yeah, here's also the limited edition GoldenEye controller. It's got a little dust on the edge right there. For the Wii. A couple of 6-axis and a DualShock 3. Yeah, you don't really need to know. So, other things I got here. Yeah. These are away. Put those away later. So, over here I've got some ColecoVision games, like Avenger, Cosmic Avenger, Bump and Jump, Gorf, Zaxxon. Gorf and Zaxxon are really awesome. So is Bump and Jump's epic. Looping, which got made fun of on Angry Video Game Nerds ColecoVision review, and I actually think it wasn't deserving of that because he just didn't know how to play the game. And Space Fury. Other games I've got here. Now keep in mind, this is just a small fraction of my video game collection. But I've actually got tons more video games. These are just the ones I keep out because I might want to play them. For the 7800, I got Galaga, Centipede, Joust, Dig Dug, Exevious, Ball Blazer, Miss Pac-Man, Pole Position 2, Super Huey, Donkey Kong Jr., Double Dragon. That... it's a kind of a lousy port of Double Dragon, but hey, in 1987 or 1988 or whenever we got it, having that was friggin' cool because hey, we could play Double Dragon. For this 2600, I got Frogger, Grand Prix, Q*bert's in the console, Gar's Revenge, Mario Bros, Midnight Magic, Robot Tank. Yeah, my Atari 7800 is one of the ones that can play Robot Tank. Atlantis, Cosmic Arc, Phoenix, Berserk, Miss Pac-Man, Flash Gordon, I believe, River Raid, Journey Escape, which is actually, yeah, we're talking like Don't Stop Believin' Journey here. Mega Mania, Pitfall, Blue Label, Enduro, California Games, and this is, yeah, that's for 2600. This is my, oh, there's Splatterhouse. These are my Intellivision games. There's Zaxxon, Block and Chase, Buzz Bombers, Locomotion, Shark, Space Battle, Triple Track Action, Bowling, Burger Time, really good port of Burger Time, Snafu, Astro Smash, which is like the best game ever for the Intellivision, Tron Deadly Discs, and Frog Bog. Oh, and I've got, that's Astro Blast, which is Astro Smash for the Atari, which isn't quite as good. I actually used to say the otherwise, and I've been convinced. Donkey Kong for the Coleco. And I've also got a stash of other games here. I've got Star Wars Arcade for the 32X, Cosmic Carnage for the 32X. If you ever watched Classic Game Room, I recommend you do so. Doom for the 32X, Mortal Kombat for the Genesis, Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Afterburner 2, Altered Beast, Outrun, very good port of Outrun, Raid and Trad, that is a fantastic game, I recommend it, Earthworm Jim, classic, and Streets of Rage, and the Game Genie for the Genesis. I'm not sure if it works past through the 32X or not. I've never tried it. Anyway, put those away. Let's take a look at some of the games that I've got up here. Here's getting warm. Alright, so up here there's a couple more games I've got. Armor Battle, Demon Attack for the Intellivision. These ones I haven't cleaned yet, so I don't put them with the rest of my games. Star Voyager, Turmoil, and Green Label Pitfall, and Yara's Revenge. I've got Yara's Revenge already. That's just my childhood copy sitting down here. Don't give that away. So, up here I've got a selection of NES games. I've got more over here in the rack, like Metroid, Marble Madness, the two Zeldas, Mario 3's in the console, Duck Hunt, the original Duck Hunt, Rad Racer, Kid Icarus. I've also got a ton of Super Nintendo games, including Terminator 2 in the box. I have a Super Scope, but it's in the closet. Doesn't work with a LCD television anyway. Game Boy games, Game Boy Advance games, N64 games, really old promo cassette for N64, Master System games, more Genesis games, more Game Gear games, PlayStation 1 games, the original Wipeout in long box, as well as the long box for Need for Speed, the games in the console, Dreamcast games, Sega Saturn games, Sega CD games, more Sega CDs, more Sega Saturn CD stuff. Nights into Dreams. If you have a Saturn, I recommend you get that. Over here, step aside, I have GameCube games, Wii games, Xbox and Xbox 360 titles, GoldenEye 007 for the Wii, and that's the limited edition. That's how I got the controller. I have the comic and everything for this stored away, but this is the box for Yara's Revenge, and I have a mint condition cartridge as well. I've got PS2 games, PSP games, PS3 games, and a small collection of DVD movies and stuff. Oh, and DS games. Now keep in mind, this is just it's the bulk of my collection, but this is only the part of the collection that I keep out. The rest of it is stuff that I keep stored away in storage. Like I've got over 100 Atari 2600 games. Just a decent sized collection. But for the most part, I keep all my favorite consoles out here, like duplicates and stuff. I keep stored away. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video and it wasn't too boring. yeah, I hope you liked it. And if anybody wants to see me go into more detail in one of my other collections, like say go into detail about the size of my Atari collection or review other stuff, I'd be happy to. Just post a comment to this video and let me know. And I've also got like a vinyl collection, Laserdisc collection as well. So yeah, anytime. If anybody wants to see any other collections, let me know. Talk to you later. Bye.